And you're definitely feeling for those folks that are now displaced as temperatures are continuing to cool off today in the wake of a cold front that brought us storms yesterday evening. And so let's start with the headline today, falling temperatures. And so you can distinctly see that with a color contour on the map here. We have low 40s in our western suburbs, including Howell at 42, 44 in Ann Arbor. Now we're still sitting at 51 at City Airport and 50 in Port Huron, but that cooler air mass will continue to work from west to east, where you see what's ahead for us, Lansing already in the 30s. And so we'll continue to cool, little bump this afternoon, but it's going to feel cooler with the shifting winds. So wind gusts right now are out of the west, and we have those wind gusts clocked right around 30 miles per hour from Pontiac off towards Ann Arbor. But what happens when a cold front sweeps through, we're not just talking about a cold air mass itself, it has to do with the wind direction change. So behind the front, you typically get northerly surface winds, and that's coming after more of a southerly flow ahead of that front. And that's exactly what we're dealing with. You can see the culprit right here, that low pressure system with the cold front now pushing off into portions of Ontario, that cold front in the middle of Ohio down towards Kentucky. But that's what triggered our storms yesterday evening. And now we're dealing with windy and cooler conditions for your Monday. So we slide in temperatures. Here's that little rebound I'm talking about when the kids are dropped off from school this afternoon, 44. So only about a 2-degree rebound this afternoon. But those 40s will feel cooler with the shift in winds coming out of the northwest. So today's wind gusts stronger throughout the morning, but we're still looking at gusts in the 20-mile-per-hour range this afternoon, and that translates to wind chill readings. So that feels like temperature when we're sitting right around 40 will likely be mid-30s because of the northwesterly flow of air. Now we have a little bit of everything in the forecast this week. Starting off rather mild with falling temperatures today. We will have clearing skies as we go into April 1st, April Fool's Day, which means that we're waking up in the upper 20s. And that's no April Fool's joke. Watch what happens by Wednesday morning with the colder air mass. We could start with a wintry mix or even some snowflakes, but we get a surge of warmer air. Warm front chased by a cold front. So that's going to trigger some storms. Now we could see some in the afternoon. Probably the better bet for those stronger storms will be overnight Wednesday into Thursday, and it's going to take some time for that colder air mass to work in. So we're still looking at 60s on the board Thursday before those temperatures fall once again. Very similar setup from yesterday to today to what we're dealing with Wednesday going into Thursday. So we have a level 3 enhanced risk for severe storms across Metro Detroit. That's at a 5-level scale, and a slight risk as you get into Detroit, Mount Clemens, Port Huron. But the strongest threat will be gusty, damaging winds, much like yesterday, but everything is on the table. We can't rule out hail or even an isolated tornado. We're also looking at the threat for flooding. It's likely that we'll pick up 1 to 2 inches of rain from early Wednesday to early Thursday. So plan for that, but also plan for those 60s before we fall in temperatures going into Friday and the upcoming weekend. We'll be in the 50s with a slight chance for showers for your weekend plans. But we have tumbling temperatures in the forecast on this Monday. 49 in the city, 43 in Ann Arbor, 42 in Pontiac, 45 in Monroe. Westerly winds sustained 15 to 20 miles per hour will shift out of the northwest today. So that means the afternoon high will only be 44 as we continue to slide. Mid 40s on tap tomorrow as we surge back into the 60s with storm chances Wednesday.
Also, the people who are displaced from their home at this time. Well, one of you reached out to our help desk about a Local 4 senior center fighting for survival. I went to that center to get answers and talk to the members about what makes it so special. Now, if you think about it, a lot of these seniors start coming to this center when maybe their spouse passes away and they're looking to make new friends. The Plymouth Community Council on Aging has been around for almost 50 years, but they're one of the only senior centers in the area that is a 501c3 nonprofit, which means they do not get federal funding, and the money that they currently have, well, it's running out.
Forewarn weather with Exact Track 4D.
So question, concern, problem.
Go ahead.
Snow in April.
It happens all the time.
I mean, I'm just following the prompts. I go right to the source. I don't have to go through it.
So my birthday's at the end of April, and I always use that as like the the milestone, mile marker. No, I mean I've had years where I've had like an 80-degree birthday and then snow on the ground. Like the end of April is so fickle.
It's hit or miss.
Yeah, you're not safe until mid-May.
You can look at it as like snow in April is just a little bit of like this is what you're going to miss. Just say goodbye, final goodbye, because we know it's
You're trying, Kim.
She's trying hard.
She's trying.
You know what I think is promising, though? The tulips are starting to come out of the ground. The trees are starting to bud. So even if we are to get a snow, it's not going to stick around long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we don't want it to ruin our flowers.
That's true. That is true. Well, you don't want them to start to bloom and then that happens.
Yes.
So as long as they're still in the bud form, they're safe right now. But it's really going to be about these freezing temperatures as you get into April, where it gets to be a little tricky. But in the meantime, speaking of getting into April, tomorrow morning, April 1st, this is no joke. We're waking up to upper 20s. So we have falling temperatures today, 20s overnight, and then we have a warm front that lifts. And with that warm front, because of the cool temperatures to start Wednesday, it could start as a wintry mix, transitioning to rain with the warmer air that builds in, and then a chasing cold front triggers severe storm potential late Wednesday. So warmer temperatures will return mid to late week, and then a little more seasonal weekend ahead. So temperatures right now have been fluctuating and trending downward as that colder air mass in the wake of a cold front is settling in. So we have 36 in Lansing, 38 in Jackson, 42 in Ann Arbor, and then upper 40s on the east side. We were well into the 50s early this morning, so we're starting to see that downward spiral as we speak. Wind gusts are still close to that 30-mile-per-hour range from Metro Airport, City Airport towards Pontiac, even a 37-mile-per-hour wind gust clocked in Flint, and it's that westerly flow. But if you notice, as we draw our attention towards Lansing, we're starting to see this shift out of the northwest, and this is all because of a directional change that happens in the wake of a cold front. So you have that southerly flow, the warmer air mass ahead of the front changes to a more northerly surface wind in the wake, and it was that cold front that triggered the storms that we dealt with yesterday evening. So that's well off to our east, pushing through northeast Ohio, stretching down towards Tennessee, the low up into Ontario, northern lower Michigan even getting a little bit of snow in the wake of the ice storm that they were dealing with. But here close to home, as we map out the rest of your day, we'll continue to slide. Then we kind of plateau in the low 40s. By midday, we're talking the lunch hour, we might rebound a degree or two into the afternoon with a high in the afternoon of 44. Now that's not the high that goes down in the record books. That happened just after midnight, but this is what we're looking at for your afternoon planner. So today's winds will taper off slightly, but we're still in the 20-mile-per-hour range when it comes to those wind gusts. And with the change coming out of the north, that gives us a wind chill factor. So the 40s that we're dealing with come drop off from school this afternoon around 4. We'll feel more like 30s, and actual air temperatures fall into the 20s tonight. Part of that is because we're peeling back those clouds tonight, so you get radiational cooling. We'll start off chilly tomorrow morning. Then by tomorrow night, we're going to see potential for a wintry mix or even some snowflakes working in pre-dawn Wednesday. This is with a warm front that's lifting, so it creates some of that instability. But the warmer air mass will change that precipitation to rain. So by Wednesday midday, we're looking at maybe some moderate to heavy showers with a line of storms that develop Wednesday night into Thursday. But we'll be fine-tuning the timeline of those storms as we get closer with high-resolution data. So you want to stay with your forewarned weather team. So we go from a wintry mix to spring-like storms within less than 24 hours. And in fact, the setup for Wednesday, late Wednesday, is much like yesterday, a level 3 on a 5-level scale. So we're looking at that for Metro Detroit, an enhanced risk and a slight risk to our north. Damaging winds will be the primary threat, but we're going to pick up about 1 to 2 inches of rain, so flooding can't be ruled out, or even an isolated tornado. We'll still be in the upper 60s Thursday before those temperatures fall. We'll be in the seasonal 50s going in the upcoming weekend with a slight chance of a shower or two this weekend.